in your heart, how do you really see God the Father? You know he is love, but do you always feel loved by him? Does he sometimes seem distant? Does he sometimes seem to reject you or reject your prayers? Does he sometimes seem cold? Or is he always a doting daddy? See, we all, and that's what I really want to introduce you to tonight, is God the Father as your doting daddy. We all project onto God the Father the images of fatherhood that human beings have represented, have demonstrated. So, for example, if you had an abusive father, it's very hard to feel close or feel safe with God the Father and to feel safe in getting close to him. If your father was not in the home, either out traveling for work or from a divorce or from passing away, if the father is not in the home, it's very hard to recognize the closeness of God the Father and to understand what it means to have a doting daddy, and that God is that for us. We, even if we've had the best of fathers, and by the way, we can include any authority figure in this. It could be a mother, it could be a teacher, it could be a priest, it could be any authority figure, but whatever images of fatherhood and authority that we've experienced in human beings, that has become part of our brain and part of our thinking about what to expect from God the Father. So even the best fathers in the world are imperfect. And so without realizing it, we expect God the Father to be imperfect. This is why we don't feel as close to God as we really want to be. And, no matter where you are in your spiritual journey, no matter how close you feel to God the Father, there's always more. God is always a God of more because he's infinite. He's infinitely loving, infinitely creative, infinitely concerned about you. And so I put everything I learned into this book, 30 Days to the Father's Heart. It's just packed with insights and stories, not just my stories, but other people's stories as well. You can find it on Amazon. You can go to my website to find out how to get to the publisher's website and get it there. My website is gnm.org, stands for Good News Ministries, gnm.org, and just look for the menu books and you'll see it there. I've got other books as well. So I highly recommend this. I wrote this for you because everybody needs healing in their relationship with God the Father. And God wants you to have such a close relationship with him where you just know that you know that he loves you. It's not always human fathers or authority figures that interfere with our image of who God the Father really is. Sometimes it's friends. Many years ago, when I got the flu, my husband was not able to stay home from work to take care of me and the baby. And so I called up a friend. I belonged to a charismatic covenant community where we were all committed to be more than just let's get together once a week and do praise and worship and have a prayer meeting, but let's also be involved in each other's lives. And so we'd get together for meals and family events. And so I said, okay, covenant community means they're there for me when I need them. So I called up the one of those members who I knew would be home and not working. And I said, could you please come over and pick up my son and babysit him, take care of him until Ralph gets home. That's my husband, because I just feel like throwing up whenever I move. It's hard. I can't. My son is like, he needs me to feed him and he needs me to diaper him and needs me to keep him out of, putting something in the sockets, the electric sockets, although we had those covers, but you know what I'm saying? It's there's many ways that a little baby can get into trouble when they're not watched. And my friend's answer was, and this was 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I was finally reaching out for help in desperation. And she said, no, I can't because I have to make dinner for my husband. Well, what time is dinner? 6 o'clock. Well, can't you come over and pick up David and take him home with you? And no, I can't do that. And I didn't understand why. But she absolutely refused. And so, this left an impression on me that when you ask for help, it's not available. And sometime after that, we were selling our house to move to a better neighborhood. We had 2 kids now, and 5 and 3. And the neighborhood we were living in was not the best influence for them. So we found a house in a better neighborhood that we wanted to buy. And we put our house on the market, but it didn't sell. Down the street, the atheist house sold in 2 weeks. 8 months later, our house was still in the market. It was priced right. I couldn't understand. We had asked God to be in charge of selling the house. So how in the world could we go wrong? But 8 months later, we're still praying and we're still not selling the house. And so I was really feeling abandoned by God. I was really feeling like he wasn't there to help. And by then, after 8 months, I was feeling so abandoned by God that I was about to lose my faith altogether. Going to Mass was very difficult for me because all I could think about was the songs were all talking about God, how good he was for everybody else but me. And, the homilies, everything about Mass was about how good God is for everybody else but me. And I wanted to cry. All I wanted to do at church was cry. And the only way I could get through Mass without making a scene, bawling, was by I just concentrated on a needlepoint project that I was working on at home. And I was in my mind visualizing hooking those, doing the needlepoint. And it had to distract myself. I was so close to totally giving up and losing it and saying the heck with having faith, heck with going to church, heck with raising my kids in this. It's all a farce. And I knew that wasn't true, and I knew I needed help. So I went to a nun who worked at the church, and she worked in pastoral care. So I made an appointment with her, and I told her my story, and I said, I'm about to lose my faith entirely. I don't have much left. And so she prayed with me. She talked to me. There was only one thing that I remember she said, and it was the only thing I needed to remember. She said that we project onto God what humans have been like to us. And that's the whole foundation of this book. That's the whole foundation of this book, is how to discover all those projections and weed them out of our lives, overcome them with the reality of who God the Father really is. And so I didn't understand when she said that at the moment. I didn't understand what she was saying, or how to apply it to myself. And on the way home, I'm thinking, did that make any difference? I don't think so. And all of a sudden, I heard in my heart, I heard God the Father say, you're projecting onto me what friends have done to you. I am not like, and then I immediately thought of that one friend who had said no when I needed her, when I had the flu. And I heard God then say, I am a true friend with a capital T, capital F. I'm a true friend. And he gave me a supernatural belief in that. I just suddenly knew it was true. It made sense, but it was more than that. I had no doubt that it was true. And that was a big turning point for me. By the time I got home, I was healed. I did not feel despair anymore. I did not feel rejected anymore. And I felt joyful. And I knew God was taking care of us. My faith was telling me that. It took another month to sell the house. But I knew throughout those entire 30 days that God was just giving me time to test this new me, this new relationship with him. And, and I did not despair during that whole time because I'd been healed. And then the house sold and everything else fell into place, including the fact that the house we wanted to buy, in that waiting for 9 months, somebody else tried to buy it, but then that fell through and we ended up getting it anyway. So God worked a lot of miracles, and I saw that happen, especially there at the end. So think about the times when people have let you down, and how has that reflected on your relationship with God the Father? How have you inadvertently, unconsciously projected onto God those human traits?